and welcome back to the Musicline podcast. My name is Amy. You may have seen me before, and we are getting to know our writers. Today we have the amazingly talented musician Jonathan Vinten here.
Thank you.
And Jonathan, also known as JV in our office. Can I call you JV, Jonathan?
JV's good, yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Fine with
So he's one half of the team that have brought the brand new musical Sir David Hat and Scarf and the Wonders of the World. And obviously you created the musical with the lovely Jess, who we will get to know in the future. Yeah. I'm sure that will be our next podcast. And yeah, welcome to the Musicline family.
Thank you.
First of all, it's lovely to have you with us today.
Pleased to be here.
Good. And we're going to basically just get to know you, if that's okay. And
Sounds
I'm
good.
going to ask you some questions, and then anybody that's listening, watching, can know a little bit more about JV and find out what makes JV tick. Okay.
Right.
So we'll get started. What you will realise, JV, is I have stalked you a little bit for the purpose of today's podcast.
All right. Okay.
So apologies for the invasion of privacy.
Stalk away. Yeah.
But first of all, let's get to know you a little bit more. Can you tell me where you're from and sort of how you got into music? So a little bit about your backstory.
How I got into music?
Yes.
That's a very long time ago. So when I was a tiny little baby, I remember sitting on my Auntie Jean's knee when I was about 18 months old, listening to Listen with Mother. It's long gone now, but Listen with Mother on the radio. And it always finished with this beautiful piece of music. It's a piece by Fauré. And I thought, as a baby, I love that sound of that. I want to do that. So I think I knew very early on that I was very interested in music. And then when I was able, I had some piano lessons and I started playing.
And how old was you when you had those piano lessons?
5 or 6, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I started very early. And then I've always loved music. It's always been my happy place to go to.
Place.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was my start in music all those years ago. And then I guess in my mid-teens, kind of unusual, I really got into jazz, and I spent my life doing jazz gigs, really.
Okay, we'll come on to that in a little bit. I'll ask you all about your gigging time.
Yeah.
And where are you from? What part of the country?
So from Kent originally.
Okay.
So I grew up in a little village called Lenham, between Maidstone and Ashford, in what was called the Garden of England in Kent. It was lovely place to grow up.
Okay.
Really nice. And then I went off to uni, went to Swansea and did a degree in psychology, nothing to do with music at all. And then I moved back, and I moved into London at that point because that's where I knew there were some jazz gigs. And I started gigging when I was about 15.
Okay.
So after uni, I had my own band at Swansea Uni. After that, I went into London and started. I was just working all the time then, and I was teaching then as well. So I don't know how I did it. I was in my mid-20s, so I had a bit more energy.
Yeah, you were young.
Yeah,
that's how you did it.
Yeah,
you had all the energy of a youngster.
Yeah. So I had a full-time job in a primary school, and then I was working, and I thought I actually can't do a gig every night and teach every day. It became too much. So and I stopped teaching for a while, for quite a while, before I went back into teaching as a music specialist, because that was my true love. And I've been a music specialist in a primary school for 25 years. Yeah.
Wow. So you were actually gigging and of an evening and working in a school every day.
So, yeah.
And did you have a family at this time?
That came a little bit, yeah. So my intense time was during my 20s, but I got quite a good break in the jazz world when I was 30, yeah. Okay. And my kids were born as I was 30, so it wasn't easy sometimes. My poor wife...
Mrs. Vinten wasn't happy.
No, I was away from home quite a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, I was always touring, and we had Hannah and Joe, my kids. So
okay.
So yeah, there was a lot going on.
Are they musical?
Oh yeah, they both play. Yeah.
Do they?
Yeah, both play.
Lovely.
Yeah, my daughter plays piano and sings, and my son plays guitar and sings, and he's playing piano as well. So.
Oh wow! I bet that's nice, isn't it? That it's carried on with them.
Yeah, but they never wanted to do it for a living. I think they saw me.
They saw the struggle.
Yeah, they saw me coming home at 4 o'clock in the morning and said, I don't think we want that, Dad.
No.
So, yeah.
And it's tough, isn't it? Gigging is tough, even for youngsters who are gigging now out on the road. It's a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot of travelling. Yeah.
Especially if you were teaching in the day as well. I bet that was that was extreme.
That didn't. I couldn't. I realised early on I can't do both of these together. So I couldn't be a full-time teacher and a full-time musician. I mean, I did it for about 3 or 4 years. So, but so I've always been a part-time teacher. Then I went down to 3 days a week, but then I was teaching Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and then gigging Friday, Saturday, maybe Sunday. So always busy. Yeah.
Always busy.
Yeah, always
well,
busy.
I think most musicians, successful musicians, are busy, aren't they?
Yeah.
And I would absolutely say that you can tell how passionate you are about music. I think obviously we did the theatrical trailer and you came and you got involved in the day.
Yeah, loved it.
Which it was
That was a
great, but
great
we
day,
could see it was easy for me and Dave from Musicline to really see how passionate you are about the music in particular. We'll come on to the musical in a minute because I've got loads to talk to you about that. So obviously, my second question on here, which now you've answered, it was music something you was always passionate about, but clearly you absolutely were.
Yeah.
And it's really nice to see. So a question: how many instruments can you play? Here we go. Is this where you have to get your fingers and toes out?
No, no, not at all. Because I concentrated on the piano. Really, I did in my. When I wasn't busy enough in my 20s, I did have played alto and tenor saxophone briefly, but never got much further with that.
Okay.
And then that's really it. And and I've been a real, and I know some primary school teachers don't enjoy the sound of recorders, but I have been an advocate for recorder teaching.
Have you really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I've always thought that's the. I had a parent say to me once, why's my son, why are you teaching him recorder? And I said, because it's the easiest way, the cheapest way, we can get them reading those dots on the line and knowing about music and starting to read music. And I said, the idea is, he said, well, okay, if that's the case, name me one famous recorder player, And I said, well, maybe Ed Sheeran. I expect he played recorder when he was 7.
He's got to have played. Yeah. I think every child has played the recorder at some point.
So it's a way of moving them on, So I've always thought, and I've seen teachers walking down the corridor going as they've gone by, We should never. I think you should encourage as much positivity about that as you can, really.
Heard it here, guys. Get your recorders out. Get practicing.
Yeah.
I remember I could do 3 Blind Mice really badly.
There you go.
When I was at school. I've always loved the idea of playing an instrument. I think I've never had the patience. I come from a family that can all play instruments.
All right.
So my brother could pick one up and read without even reading music. And I was always a little bit jealous. I did try guitar, but it hurt my little fingers. But I've always really admired musicians. Because and performing in big theatres, I'd always look down in the pit at the musicians and just be amazed by what they can do. Because it's magic and trickery as far as I'm concerned. I don't know how you do it. So I did do a little bit of stalking, and I went on your website and I could see, I could not believe at how many huge venues you've played at.
Okay.
So the Chelsea Flower Show, which is a huge thing, absolutely huge. Everyone knows of that. And obviously you've played at different swing events around the world. So you've literally toured the world, am I right?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
Tell me which countries are wrong. Prague, Germany, Switzerland, France. Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that just some of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Scandinavia, Italy, I don't know, Hong Kong.
Wow.
Middle East.
Literally everywhere.
And California. There was a West Coast had playing out there for a bit as well. So.
And did you ever get time to stop and enjoy those places, or was it just literally going, playing and getting back on a plane?
I had a long run of gigs that were just mainly based in the UK. So I went to every single, I reckon, every single town in the UK
Wow.
to gig. And yeah, you're there and you drive on to the next gig, and then, you know, you see a little bit of the town. So you don't really, and even when you're abroad, there's really isn't much time. I did in Hong Kong when I went there. That was a good few years ago, but that was fun.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's the Queen's Stand at Epsom Races.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
I saw that one.
Yeah.
And then TV shows, Noel's House Party.
That was fun day.
Please tell me what you did at Noel's House Party, because I remember that show.
Okay. It was great. The BBC sent a car to my house, which was wonderful. So they turned up, chauffeur driven, to the studio. So I went up there, and then we kind of rehearsed a bit with Noel. So I was working with a singer, and probably not many people now know of this singer. His name is George Melly, and there was a band called the Feet Warmers we worked with, and he was really popular in the 80s. 70s, 80s and 90s, and I was with them in the 90s, so a long time ago. We were in the broom cupboard. Now, do you remember the broom cupboard? There was a bit in this.
Yes, I do.
Okay,
I do remember the broom cupboard.
And George had to sing some songs, so we're all squeezed in this very small area.
Yeah.
So there's a piano, bass, drums, and George Melly, and we all had to squeeze in this place and sing. I think it was 4 bars of each song, and some contestants had to try and guess what the song was, you know, within that very short piece of music. And I remember George had so many songs to sing, and he would like demonstrate to the camera. So he was doing that with his hands to show, but he had all the song titles written on the inside of his hand, like, so you could read. He could remember all the songs. It was too much. Oh yes, that one.
That's a good little tip for performers out there.
Yeah. So it was that was good fun. Yeah, doing that, and that was in my first couple of years of joining that band. Yeah, Noel Edmonds.
So also I can see that you did the Lily Savage show.
Oh yeah, that was fun. That was good fun. That was from we were in Blackpool one night, and we did the show, did the theatre, and it was televised, and then I went back to the hotel. We were staying in a hotel, and there was and Paul O'Grady was just sitting there, and I said, "Oh, hi, Lily," and he said, "Oh, it's not Lily, it's Paul." I said, "All right, do you want a drink, Paul?" So, and I sat and had a really long chat with him. Very nice guy that evening. Yeah, I remember that clearly. Yeah.
I worked with Paul O'Grady at pantomime, at the Birmingham Hippodrome when I was a youngster.
Oh wow!
And Paul had this tiny little dog. That would come along to the studio. I can't really remember. I don't really remember any. I definitely didn't have a drink with Paul O'Grady, so I can't say that. But that's so nice that you have that as a memory. Yeah,
it was fun. Yeah.
And
good.
You bought Paul O'Grady a drink?
I think so. Yeah.
There you go.
I'm sure he bought me one back.
And obviously, you did the BAFTAs. What did you do at the BAFTAs?
So I wasn't. Yeah, I was performing at the BAFTAs as a kind of the hospitality. So when people arrived, there was champagne reception, and I was working there just playing background piano and
love that.
And I've done a lot of that over the years.
Okay.
Background, just tinkling the ivories, basically.
That's
just
amazing.
Set an atmosphere.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's different. That's kind of different from a performance gig.
Yeah.
A background gig.
I think with the background gigs, because I've been involved with some of them before, I think you have to understand you don't have an audience to clap you all of the time at the end of your set.
So I also have been ignored all over the world.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. Don't worry, anybody who does background music. Jonathan Vinten knows how you feel. So that's great. And then obviously 10 years with George Melly, who you mentioned previously.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, a long time with him. Yeah.
A long time.
That was a great gig to get. I was playing at the Edinburgh Festival in 1992. Yeah, and. He was just about to lose his piano player, George, and they came into a bar, Hotel Duke of Roxburgh it was called, and we were performing. I was working with a band called Laurie Chesko's Good Time Jazz, who I've been working with and doing loads of gigs with. And they walked in and they said, "Oh, kind of I like what you're doing. And then about 2 or 3 weeks later, I got a very nice phone call and said, we've got a gig. Our first gig is in Dubai. Do you want to come along and try out?
Then.
And I said, yeah, okay. Yeah. So my first summer, that was it. So at the end of that year, 92, I did a gig in Dubai. It was a week long in a hotel. Very nice it was. I think Dubai is probably very different now.
Yeah.
After all these years. And then from there, we went straight into Ronnie Scott's, and we played at Ronnie Scott's for 5 weeks solid. And that was a bit of an eye-opener. It was Ronnie was still alive then. Ronnie was running the club. Mm-hmm. So it's, and it was a very late show. So there were bands on before, and we used to go on at 11 as the first set, play 11 to 12, and then Ronnie and the quintet would play between midnight and say 1:15, 1:30 if inspiration overtook them, and then we'd play the late set, and the late set was 1:30 to 2:30, 2:45 sometimes. So we'd finish up late, and there was 5 weeks on the trot of that.
Wow.
Every night. So it was graft, it was hard graft.
And a varying sleep pattern, I imagine.
Oh yeah, and small children at home.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, can you imagine?
A lot.
It was tough. It was tough, But I loved it. And I loved playing. So
I think as well, you that graft that you have to put in to do something that you love, that you're passionate about. It's there, isn't it? You sort of don't mind doing the graft because you're doing the job you love.
Yeah. Because people talk about when you were saying about learning an instrument, about people use the word I'm devoted to my music. I practice. You actually have to become obsessed in a way. Otherwise, So even now, I've been recently working on. It's just a little 4-bar piece. It's tricky, and I just. Okay, I'm going to keep working, okay, and you don't give up, And that's the message for young kids, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think as well, the other message about, obviously, it was a different time, but George Melly walking into somewhere and seeing you play, and then being offered a job and then working with someone for a decade off the back of that, that's just like... right place, right time sort of scenario, isn't it?
I was very lucky to get that job.
And then obviously your talent obviously comes into it, but if he'd have walked into any other pub, bar at any other time, it could have been somebody else's opportunity.
Yeah, it could have been easily. Yeah.
So
no, I was lucky to get the gig.
But it sounds like you had a really good run with George Melly.
Yeah, it was 250 gigs a year. So it was most of the time.
Most of the time. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Do you have any absolute standout moments from the time when you was doing that? Is there any moments that you've had in your career that are absolutely stand out?
That we talked about doing some TV. I remember doing. We did in the first few months of being with George. We were playing in Liverpool, and at the end of the show, Michael Aspel walked on. And it was This Is Your Life. And we all got in the bandwagon after that, and we drove, and this is another overnight recording, so it was late, so we drove to Granada Studios in Manchester, and we recorded all through the night. And it was, but the thing that I really remember, and it sounds a bizarre thing to remember, I came out of the studio and it was dawn. It was 4:30 in the morning, and there were birds singing around the studio. It was dawn, but it was the sound, and there was a security guard there. And I said, "Is that like?" And he said, "No, they're real birds. That's what a dawn chorus sounds like." And it was such a. I know it's a silly thing to say, but it was so amazing to hear that sound.
I think obviously it's a big memory.
Yeah.
And I don't think standout moments have to be the big, massive audiences and what they are. I think moments that obviously a very personal one to you that makes you remember that. Yeah. So moving on a little bit, so obviously you've done that, you've got little kids at home, Mrs. Vinten's working hard, looking after them while you're living your dream around the world.
And earning.
And earning the money. But obviously trying to do everything. And then you obviously made the decision to get back into teaching.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
So how long ago was that? Did you say it was 25 years?
25 years ago. Yeah, I came back, and I've actually worked in the same school for the last 25 years as a music specialist.
Okay.
And particularly the last few years have been joyous. You know, there's nothing better that you can do than try and instill a curiosity into a child, and a curiosity to learn or to understand. And hopefully that's what I've done in teaching, you know, because I, as you can tell, music's really in my heart, and I think I've been able to hand that over to some children. And I've had one of my kids gotten so well. She's a bassoonist. I talked to her many years ago. And I had a little school orchestra when I was playing, and she turned up with this bassoon one day. I thought, great. But she's gone on and been to the Royal Academy, and she's done a master's on bassoon, and now she's been auditioning for some really top orchestras as well.
Wow.
And to see that happen is an absolute delight, you know, to see her.
And that you had a part to play in her story.
However much part, you know, maybe a small part, but at least that. And I had another email from a kid who obviously found me on my website and emailed me and just said, Mr. Vinten, thanks. Just wanted to say I've just started music at Cambridge, and thanks for getting me started. You know, it's lovely.
No, it's lovely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
How did you find the adjustment? Sorry, get my teeth in. The adjustment to get back into teaching.
Yeah.
After gigging and having all of those, you know, disturbed nights and no sleep. How did you find the adjustment period of getting back into teaching?
That's interesting. Yeah. It wasn't the end of my gigging by any stretch of the imagination. So I was still really busy doing gigs every weekend and Friday. So I didn't lose that. I didn't miss that too much. You know, it was quite stabilising actually to have time, because it's difficult when you're away. You come back and you go, you know, and it was nice to be at home a lot more. You know, and especially with my kids there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Lovely. And obviously you've that's where, at the school where you were, that's where you met the lovely Jess.
It is, yeah.
And obviously you met her. I've met Jess, and she's a lovely lady. She's got a cracking personality. Yeah. She's the sort of person that anyone would like, I think.
She is, yeah. She
lights up a room, doesn't she? At the beginning, when you met her, before the conversations about the musical started, did you click straight away? Did you just know that? Yeah,
I think so. Yeah. I mean, it was great. She's very kind of she is kind of bright-eyed and you know, and lively and fun. You know, she's always fun, and that comes out in her script writing. I think.
You
can, you know.
Yeah, she is. She's very very fun. She's got the. A Peter Pan-ness about her
she
that, you know, doesn't want to grow up type thing.
Yeah, I think she's great.
Very infectious personality.
Yeah.
So, do you, obviously being in a school for all of these years, you are in that environment all of the time. Do you feel like the world of teaching has changed? How do you feel it's changed? Do you think it's in a positive way? Do you think it's in a negative way? How do you feel?
I feel... But I felt this when I was first there. But I've always had to fight the corner for music, really, and you know, and schools are overwhelmed with, you know, what they have to achieve to demonstrate progression in other subjects in the curriculum. But I always think, it's probably really wrong of me, but the kids would come in and I said, "Now, kids, never mind all that maths and English nonsense. Let's get on and do some music," you know, and it's so great to see kids who maybe not excelling academically, you know, they come in and do a music lesson, and then suddenly they're away with whatever's. Oh yeah, I can do this, and it's their confidence as well, you know.
I think the arts in general helps children with their confidence.
Yeah.
And I think music, obviously, clearly is very, very important. I don't think people underestimate how important music is to our lives.
Yeah.
And it changes society a lot as well with what children are listening to.
Absolutely.
So obviously, when did you stop teaching in schools?
Well, I'm still doing piano lessons in school because I stopped my teaching job last summer. I just kind of thought 25 years was probably maybe time for a change.
Yeah, maybe.
so it was good, but I really enjoyed it. But I just thought I need to be doing something else. And so I'm doing more gigs now, but I'm teaching piano in schools. And I enjoy one-to-one piano lessons as well. Enjoy doing that.
That's nice. So, obviously, you take me back to where the musical first started.
Okay.
So you're working in the school. Obviously, you'd been there longer than Jess because she's a lot. No offence, but she's younger than you. She comes in. What started the conversation of the musical? Where did that come from? Obviously, two teachers.
Yeah.
I imagine it in my head. As two teachers in a staff room over a cup of tea.
It was, yeah.
And one of them has an idea, and the other one goes, "Actually, I could help with that."
It was just saying, what production what are we gonna do? And then I think one of us, or probably her, said, "Let's write one." And I said, "Yeah, okay," because she knew I write songs and always and she said, "Yeah, I'm gonna write a script." So we had a show to put on at the end of that summer term, and I think she said this to me, in probably 10 weeks before we put it on.
Oh, a whole musical in 10 weeks. It's making me anxious.
Yeah. So maybe 10 or 12 weeks. So it wasn't a lot of time. But she would say, "Okay, so." As you know in the story of David Hattenscarf, the children go off around the world. So she'd come to me each week and say, "Oh, I've written this section now." So, and she'd do this at home, and she said, "I've written a section about Borneo or Antarctica, and I'd say, "Okay, well, I'll write a song for that," and I'd write it, and then I'd play it to her. And she'd say, "I like that," or "You can change this." So, and then the next week she'd come up with another country, and then I'd write another song. And then I said, "Well, in my song, I think maybe we could change the script or whatever." So it was very much written for a purpose, because we knew that we had an audience waiting for us at the end of that term, and the children had to learn it. And it was, the Japanese have a term for this. When you're in your flow, it's called ikigai, where you write and time doesn't seem important, but it was so powerful how it all came together. It really worked out so well, and parents loved it. Parents absolutely loved it at the end of that show.
And obviously, I can imagine that the show did you then perform the show again?
Yeah,
at the school.
Yeah, it was performed the following year. So with I don't think Jess did that. It was a different class teacher, so they did it as well. So it was interesting to see other people's take on it.
Yeah.
And the good thing about this, as you can probably tell, how it's set out, is we were a 3-form entry, so we had to include. I think that's why we went for it, because it was difficult to include. And that's why we started writing it, really. It was difficult to include all 90 children. So this is what this has, it's adaptability. If you can do it with 90 kids or you can do it with 30 kids, it doesn't matter.
Just have a load of turtles.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, you have a load of turtles. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So so how many times has it been performed by the school that you were both at?
3 times.
3 times.
Yeah.
Okay, and obviously different each time.
Yeah.
Did you adapt it each time? Was there an adaptation made, or was it the same script and songs for the 3 years that you did?
Yeah. I think everything was pretty set from the outset. I don't think it changed very much at all.
Okay.
No, I don't think it did. Yeah.
And the theme of the musical, a really, really powerful theme. And it stands out in the Musicline catalogue as something that's got this really, really strong message, and obviously it's the ecological message. What made you select that theme? Was there something going on at the time? Was there a topical issue? Why that theme?
Not being their class teacher, I couldn't say specifically what was involved in the curriculum. Jess would be a better place to say that when you interview her. You have to ask her about that. But it may well have been that they were studying those sort of ecological issues.
I didn't know if you were sort of like a green planet, person who wants to protect the planet, which I imagine that you are. You must have some.
Yeah, absolutely, I am. You know, so I think, it became quite a passionate thing with us, you know, and getting that message across.
It's strange you saying that because obviously I've worked on the theatrical trailer for the musical, doing the dance. It's been working at Musicline now, and as soon as I heard the music and as soon as I read it, I said to Dave, "This is great. This is
great.
Love it." But actually, I learnt a lot from it, which I actually think it's a good thing because as an adult. For an adult to take something home, and I imagine that that's what the audience members at the schools will all do, that you want the parents to go away thinking, oh, I didn't know where palm oil came from, I didn't know what has to go into producing this product for my consumption. So it really did make me stop and think, and I had no idea. Obviously there's obvious things that you know of, but I think the musical delivers the message in a really easy to understand kind of way, in a fun way for kids. I think schools will love it if they're studying anything, and it's surprising how many days we have in the calendar to celebrate rainforests and the ocean and the earth and recycling day. There's so many throughout the year, so I really think schools will get on board with that. And
it does tick a lot of boxes for the curriculum. Definitely.
A lot of boxes, and forgetting then the geography element to it, and the fact that children are learning so much about different cultures, even down to what they wear when they're going home and getting their own costumes and things. There's so much to it. So I do think it takes, you want a completely, it covers lots of different areas in the curriculum.
It's a lot of fun, this music. It's a lot of fun, but it's also really educational as well. And you kind of don't even really notice the education bit going on because you're just having so much fun with the singing and the dancing.
I absolutely agree with you, and I think if anybody who hasn't heard of the musical or is watching this and thinking, what are they talking about? Sir David Hatton Scarf and the Wonders of the World. If you go onto the Musicline website and have a look at the synopsis of the musical, it tells you there, and also you can have a listen to the demo tracks on there, so a little snippet of them. I've got to say, I absolutely am obsessed with the music. The music for me, I love the script, obviously I love it, but for me the music, when I read the script, what I tend to do is as I'm reading the script I play the track, and I almost was wishing for the track when they were in Egypt to sound exactly like Ships of the Desert. I was wishing that when they got to Borneo that I would hear that jazz sort of King Louis from the Jungle Book type of vibe.
Yeah, good.
And absolutely, you ticked all of those boxes.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you.
The song for me, Bengal Tiger, is something that even my 3-year-old sings around the house now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's so catchy, unbelievably so. Which is your favourite from the musical? If you had to pick one, which one?
I think Hanging About in the Jungle. It's probably my jazz thing, It's probably back to my little
jazz influence.
Comfort zone, if you like. But I mean, it's good fun. The kids, when we've done those productions, the kids just, and in the video, the Dance It video, there's a bit of freestyle where they can, purely express themselves through the medium of dance.
And what children cannot dance like a monkey, they all can, can't they? They all
absolutely. So they've in the productions they've all loved that, and they've all loved the Bengal Tiger as well.
And I think that, like I said, the music is absolutely influenced with all of the nice sounds from the different cultures. Did you know straight away when Jess would give you those particular scenes and say we're in we're in Borneo now, or we're in Egypt. Did you sort of know what sounds you wanted to create as soon as you knew you agreed on that?
I think I did. I was having this conversation with Jess the other day. Actually, we were talking about when you start, you go with an idea, you have an idea, and you think, and usually your first idea is usually your best. This is something I found. A great guy told me this. I did a master's degree in composition when I was about 40. You know, I loved it. He said exactly that. Go with your first idea. It's probably your best. And so I would go home and I'd start writing straight away. And I don't think I ever kind of completely ditched anything. I just went with what was in my mind, you know.
Went with it.
And yeah. So I had those ideas about, for example, like you were saying, Bengal Tiger, about using tabla and sitar, you know, it straight away. And then I researched it and how they would be put together in a kind of dance track, you know, which references kind of Indian music.
Yeah, it's great. And there's I really love the Magic Flying Carpet song, which is obviously just a really, really short bit, as I would call it. And it's really smartly done because it goes in between every scene to transport the children.
That's it.
To a different country on a magic flying carpet. Yeah. For those of you that don't know the musical, have a look at the synopsis. It will all make sense. But what's really nice about that is it becomes so catchy that by the second time children have heard it, I can imagine all of the audience, all of the parents watching are all singing "Fly Your Magic Carpet." So, love that. And actually, we had loads of fun creating that on the trailer day, didn't we?
Yeah, yes, we did.
Magic Flying Carpet.
That was fun. Yeah, but that's the key thing to remember if you're putting this on and you've got your magic carpet and you've got it raised up on a box. Make sure that you put fishing line on the front edges of the carpet and waggle them about, because it really looks like it was moving.
And the parents can all laugh at their kids, who you can obviously see at the side moving the magic carpet. Yeah. So the obviously we've talked about the theme about the ecosystem and preserving the planet. Do you have any plans on developing that theme further?
That is something we've been talking about.
Okay.
In the last couple of weeks. And Jess has an idea.
Okay.
And it will start with her idea, and then I'll supply the music. And I said, been quite clear with her. I said, look, when you're ready to start sharing that, you know, get what you want, you know, get it to the point you're happy, and then we can work together again on it. It's a joy working with her, you know.
Let's hope she gives you more than 10 weeks, though.
Oh yeah, I think we'll have more than 10 weeks.
You might need a bit more than 10 weeks.
Yeah.
So obviously the musical is on sale, and we've had our first order, which is amazing. How does that feel? Like published musical? How
fantastic! It's fantastic for me because I've done, as we've been talking about, I've done lots of things musically, and this is a real first for me to be published in the way that we're doing this, and to think that you know, I saw Steve Titford, who's written some other musicals. I saw that one of his performances was. One of his shows was being performed in Malaysia, I think, in the last few weeks or the last week. And I thought, that's incredible. So you can write your music and then it can go anywhere in the world.
Anywhere in the world.
That's a really lovely thought. So for me, it's a real pleasure to have that.
Yeah, I think I can tell from the way that you talk and when I met you and Jess, this is a love story. It's such a beautiful one, created two teachers who you know, it was a means to an end in a school to create this idea that's just turned into such a fantastic piece. I think Musicline will do wonders with it. I really do. Excuse the pun. And I think as well, we're saying about, you know, Musicline already have works that are it's global, so all of our international orders that go out, and it's nice to see the different countries how they take on the works. But I think, again, because of the cultural message that you have with the musical, that opens another door there as well, because they can explore the different cultures too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And obviously the message isn't just a UK message.
No.
It's a global message.
global
so
message,
I think
absolutely.
it ticks a lot of boxes for the international market too.
And that's great that Musicline have taken this one on for us, because they couldn't have been, none of you could have been, you've been so helpful in everything, and you've worked hard at getting it out, and Jess and I are really, really grateful that that's happening.
And I think
and really
when you hear, I think with us at Musicline, people are constantly sending works to be published, and I think the work that's chosen is done so with the where will it sit in the catalogue. Because it has to have its place. And I think, you look at the success of Craig and Steve, and look at and even Jan and Michael, and how well their musicals are doing. I think, it is testament to how the teamwork because it is a teamwork and it is a family, and
it's definitely a family. It's lovely.
Everyone
it's really
says
nice.
that, and it is a combination of really fantastic writers and musicians with a really good publishing team, and even Sarah in the office getting everything together. It is great. Obviously, we just touched upon a potential next project.
Right.
Is it a musical? Is that the idea? Another school musical?
Another school musical.
Okay. And that's all you can say?
I can't say any more. I'm not really holding anything back. But
Okay.
she's got an idea, and it's once again, it's about climate and ecology, and getting that message through to children, and helping them with that, helping them to understand. It's a good starting point, isn't it, for changing? If it's something they remember, and as you said, those tunes stay in your head.
Yes.
So if you've got that tune in your head, it becomes a kind of mantra for saving the world, if you like.
Yeah, and who doesn't want that?
No, exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it would be great to do a second musical.
Yeah.
Let me know when you know what it is.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure Jess, who is at home with a newborn baby,
She is.
She has nothing better to do than to be knocking together a script.
No.
I'm sorry, Jess. We know how busy you are, really.
Yes, she is.
So obviously you're retired from teaching.
Yeah.
Last year.
Yeah. I'm not sure I like the word retired. I've been thinking about it because I kind of guess I stopped teaching, but I don't feel I'm retired because I've got plenty.
But you're still working, and that's what I was coming on to. So you are still gigging.
Yeah.
Check out his website, www.jonathanvinten.com.
Yeah.
And you are available for weddings and celebrations.
Yeah.
Are you not? I
play
saw
for
on
all
there.
those,
You can
jazz
you do
quartets
everything. What is going on for you right now? So obviously you're not at the school full time, but you're doing a bit of teaching.
Yeah.
What else are you up to?
I became a granddad.
Yeah.
So that's very nice. There's quite a bit of that going on. I'm constantly. I think the thing, how we started this interview, I talked about being 18 months old, and started embarking on a journey into music. You never reach the end, You're always exploring and always listening to new things and finding out. And there's probably not a week or two goes by without me going, you could do this. Why hadn't I thought of that before?
Really?
So
you're still learning and
I think
developing.
So. Yeah. And that's the best, isn't it? To keep learning and develop. So that's what I'm doing. Yeah,
and will you be passing your musical genius on to your grandchild? Is that the plan?
Oh, we've already been jamming at the piano.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, he's only one, but
okay.
And he's going to be one on Monday. So,
lovely. And obviously, it's been lovely to speak to you.
Oh, likewise.
And I think for me, it's really apparent that music is in your blood, and that it's been a rough road. Because of all those sleepless nights, gigging
I don't mind.
everywhere.
It's been worth it.
but it sounds like absolutely worth it. And I think there's a saying, isn't there, that if you do a job you love, you'll never work a day in your life.
That's true.
And it sounds like, for me, that's exactly how you've lived your life.
It is, yeah. One of my friends who I gig with, we get to the end and he always says, I think we got away with it. which which is what it is. Somehow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
It's been lovely. Thank you
Likewise.
very, very much. If you want any more information on JV or anything, and you didn't hear my rabbling of his website, it is jonathanvinten.com. But you can drop us a message and we will put you in touch. It has been a pleasure, and congratulations on the new musical.
I'm really chuffed.
And if you, when you come to do your second one and it's ready,
Yeah.
I really hope I'm here for the big reveal.
I'm sure you will be.
Because
Yeah.
it sounds like it's going to be another absolute winner.
Yeah.
And if anybody wants to have a look at Sir David Hat and Scarf and the Wonders of the World, it's live now on the Musicline website. And it is, even if you just want to go and listen to the demo tracks. And we also had the Dance It available, which is a tool to help schools learn some choreography, which is really simple. And again, it just helps to make the process as easy as possible for schools. But for now, JV, thank you very much.
No, thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
Likewise. Yeah, it has, really. Thank you.
Brill. Wave to the camera, JV.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.